I don't send modern bullion coins off to be graded personally. This is not about that. This is more about finding modern bullion coins that somebody else sent off to be graded and how that affects your value, and then whether or not to smash them out. So we're going to cover a specific topic in this one: grading modern bullion. And if that sounds a little bit boring to you, don't worry. It sounds a little bit boring to me too. So we're going to widen it up a little bit. We're going to look at some gold, we're going to go over a few comparisons, and then we're going to kick around a few reasons why I may or may not end up breaking this perfect MS-70 gold coin out of its protective slab. If you're new to graded bullion, I don't know how often this comes up, but you're going to run into it in two primary situations. The first is a case, I suppose, where a seller is trying to inspire trust. Maybe they don't have a strong selling history. Maybe they're selling on a platform with a known risk for fakes. That's pretty straightforward. Graded bullion just adds a level of buyer confidence since there's a verification of the quality of the product right on the label. So you know you aren't getting something with undisclosed damage. And there's also an extra level of verification of authenticity since it's just harder to fake a slabbed gold coin. And then the second is a case where the owner or the seller is trying to increase the value of the coin. And in the case of a coin with numismatic value, an MS-70 coin is worth more than an MS-69. I think there's probably a joke in there for 14-year-olds, but the stats tell me we're all adults here. We'll just carry on. If we're keeping count so far, I'd say that those are two valid positives for grading high quality coins. One, it gives an added level of verification for authenticity, and two, it gives an objective rating that can increase the coin's value. Now the negatives, on the other hand, aren't significant. They're pretty basic. I don't personally like slabs. That's one of them. I don't like the way they look. I don't like the amount of space they take up. So we're talking about petty things. And as much as I do like the information that the label provides, I just prefer to stack raw coins, even in the case of collectible coins, at least to a certain degree. Now in the past, I haven't had to think about this too hard. I've just avoided them entirely, or I cracked a few of them out, I guess, when I ended up getting my hands on them. No real hard decisions there. But this is a good example of a coin that's on the line for me. It's on the line because I just wasn't looking for a graded specimen. I was looking for a raw coin. I wanted a second 2009 ultra high relief double eagle, and I wanted one in a capsule. I wanted a capsule because I prefer the way it looks, but I've been avoiding the graded specimens because of the cost. The price was typically at least $500 to $600 more for an MS-70, and a lot more than that for a 70 with a proof-like designation. The big dealers like JM Bullion and APMEX, they have a few with proof-like designations. APMEX is selling one right now for $7,200. That's what, a 300% premium, something like that. Since I'm not a big collector, I just wasn't interested in paying more for a graded version. The other reason that I wanted a raw coin is simply that I don't like the way the slabs look. I think I've mentioned that before. I've also mentioned that I realize it's petty, I just don't. Mostly, I don't like the way they look in these videos. And that part, of course, is really just personal preference. You can sell this coin for more because it's slabbed, because it's graded MS-70. That part is not subjective. That's proven. It is worth more. But normally you'd also pay more, and all that makes sense. The part that gets a little bit weird is buying a graded coin in a slab, paying more for that authenticity and verified quality when you aren't buying it based on future value, when you don't really care about that. Now, I can't think of a lot of people who would be in that kind of situation. Now, I have a use case that's pretty unique. I use coins a bit like a prop since I show coins on the channel. I can show a lot more of the coin if it isn't in the slab. Now, I've come into this situation in the past and I didn't hesitate to break out my Dragon versus Phoenix. That was slabbed. And that actually had an MS-70 early release designation. So it would have been worth more in the slab. And there were people who were actually angry that I broke it out. But in that case, it was my coin. I just didn't want it in a slab. And I had the rest of the series and they weren't graded. It didn't feel like a complete set with one in a slab and the rest not. So You could argue that I lost money breaking it out, especially since I had to pay a little bit more to get the graded version, but I wanted the best quality coin that I could find, and I wanted it to be similar to the others in my set. Another MS-70 gold coin that I broke out on camera is this American Gold Eagle, and I say it's this one, it could be another one, actually I'm not sure which it is at this point, but this was a case where I got the coin for less than spot price. And I didn't hesitate to bust it out of its slab, even though there were others saying that that was a bad move. Now their contention was that an MS-70 coin is always worth more than a raw coin. And they're right, a lot of buyers will pay more for a slabbed eagle. I won't, but some will. And I guess if you have a selling platform where you have an audience and you aren't paying additional fees, well, you could have gotten a little bit more for that coin, but I don't flip bullion. It's just not really worth my time. I would have had to list the coin, package it up, ship it to a buyer, and then go find a replacement. That just isn't worth it to me. I also wouldn't feel right charging anyone more for a slabbed American Gold Eagle. It just feels kind of silly. This is the most common 2021 gold coin on the planet. It wouldn't be hard to find MS-70s, and since I don't have other American Gold Eagles in slabs, it just doesn't make sense. I keep mine in mint tubes. So it really didn't make sense. I already saved something like $150 on the coin, so I was fine. I didn't need a better deal on it, so I broke it out. Keeping something like a BU, American Gold Eagle, in a slab is like keeping your Star Wars figures in their packages. So try to go back to the 80s and tell younger me that Han Solo will be worth more if I just keep him behind the plastic. I don't know, maybe I was dumb to break him out as well. So those were two examples where the slabs just really made no sense to me. The grading was nice in the Phoenix, but that was a little bit like breaking Han out of the packaging. I didn't buy that coin for future appreciation. I bought it to shoot Greedo. Okay, so that didn't make sense. 2 or 3 of you get it. But this coin right here, this 2009 Ultra High Relief Double Eagle, this coin should be left in the slab. It is not particularly rare. There were 115,000 of them minted. I think the exact number was 115,178. And I know that because if you compare it to this coin, a high relief Year of the Tiger proof lunar from the Perth Mint, well, there were 188 of these minted. So about 115,000 fewer. Now the 2009 Ultra High Relief Double Eagle, there are 10,000 similar MS-70 coins in the NGC population, and there are other grading outfits out there. So this is a coin that it's not particularly rare, but people still consider it to be a collector piece. Now personally, if I was collecting this coin, I'd want the cherry wood box in the COA that I got with my first one, but I can see the value of having an MS-70 designation on a popular collector piece from the US Mint. Now I've kind of been building the case here for leaving it in the slab, and I'm not going to pull the rug out from underneath you and just smash this out, but that might be what's happening with this one. Right now I'm leaning toward keeping it slabbed and then hunting down another raw coin, but if that starts to seem too expensive and I get tired of keeping this one locked away, I might just bust it out. I already have a capsule. I'm not sure that I've mentioned this before on YouTube. I didn't mention it on Discord. I mentioned it on Instagram and on Reddit. Discord, that's the place that I think a lot of the people there have the background on my personal preferences. People get that my gold, my rules idea. And all of us have different preferences. So when you get to know the person, the decisions make a little bit more sense. I don't think the Discord crew would be too surprised or too excited actually about the end result, whichever way that I went. Now Instagram voted for chaos. I ran a poll and a story and 65% of the people who responded said, break it out. Reddit was a little bit different. Reddit just doesn't have time for your nonsense. And I think a few people simply thought I was trolling. One person even suggested that I was looking for attention. Maybe it was a cry for help. I don't know. But I have found that the responses on Reddit seem to be very well thought out. And even though the consensus there was that I was probably dumb for even considering smashing it out, I would say that the advice given there is probably the most universally useful. I think it's an easy conclusion that I'd be giving up possible profits if I were to break it out. The important part here, though, and the part that very few people asked, was how much it cost. Now, I didn't buy the coin for the benefits that I might get from a graded version, but it was the cheaper option in this case. I paid $2,395 for this coin, and that is a 30% premium. It's a little bit wild, but it's an easy 5 to 10% savings over anything else that I was finding. The going rate for a raw version of this coin online is a few $100s more than that, so I wouldn't actually be losing money by breaking it out of the slab. I would still be ahead. Now, people will say trade it to somebody who has a raw version of the coin, or maybe sell it and then buy another, but I just don't want to gamble on the quality of somebody else's coin. I'm not going to give them a coin that's an MS70 for sure just to get back something that is lesser quality. I actually have the perfect situation here. I've already located the mint capsule. I know this coin is in perfect condition, and that's just not something that I can say about a random selection. I can't even say that about the one that I already have. So I got what I was looking for at a discount. There's just a little bit of disassembly required. So if you came to this video to get an opinion on whether grading bullion gold coins adds value, I'd say that that's a pretty easy yes. At least assuming the coin is a 70, but it's a pretty wide spectrum of how much. In the case of my American Gold Eagle, it wasn't worth the cons of keeping it in a slab to me. But in the case of this 2009 Ultra High Relief Double Eagle, I'd say that in pretty much any case, maybe not in my own, it's worth keeping it slabbed. In my case, it just isn't safe. Anytime you see this on the channel, it will be at risk of being smashed out. I think that does it for my take on the topic. Let us know what you think. Is grading modern bullion a good thing, or has it gone too far? And then would you break out the Double Eagle if you found one for less than a raw version? Let us know. And maybe you find this whole thing crazy. If you have a complaint, I'll make sure that management is notified. Regardless though, while you're in the comments, be sure to hit the like button if you found any of this interesting. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on if you want to see more on the topic. And if you're still here, thanks again for watching. I always appreciate your time. Take care.